Welcome, everyone, to another Living the Mystical Life Daily Webcast. We now have 3 weeks to go before the live event, October 5th through the 8th. If you are looking to share rooms with someone and wanting to know more about the event, inside the chat room you can contact Debbie. She is our head of our human resources here at Galactic Historian. I want to thank everyone in the background that is helping putting this together. Jen, who does the amazing work at the back end of the system. Robert, who is running the system right now through the studio. Reza and Colette and everyone else that has done such wonderful jobs. Thank you so much. Now, I have a speech for you. Part of a sample of the speeches that I'll be giving at the event. And I want people here to feel this frequency, pick up upon its emanation. Here is an emanation teaching for the nature of the now. I now pick up the mantle of responsibility and journey and begin the walk with power of the dream weave as a source to assist all frequencies of life force at understanding the position of reality of Earth. Aho, Earth Mother, who holds the sacred space, so I may create sacred space within. I call to you at this moment of moments in which I look at the wholeness of myself and all forms of reality. I call upon the earth to assist me in unraveling the story that is me unfolding in my perception of the now. Help me use hindsight and foresight in a method and manner that continues to co-create within our realms. It is here I choose to make spiritual contracts with streams of dreaming light in the ancient past, in the ancient future, and in the ancient moment of these present now. The healer's tools have been laid out in ceremonial fashion. The grouse feather to the east, revealing the dawn of a new age of man, the new dance. To the north, the bear claw necklace honors the dreams of the ancestors on the blue road of spirit. The south direction holds the cocoon of friend butterfly, waiting for us to become innocents with the joy once more, transforming our state of life into the next layer of the dream weave. To the west, the black stone doorway remains clear with intentions past, present, and future. The way is clear. The path is worn with the footsteps of the ancestors, charting a course for all future dreamers to enter the silence and know the dream time. It is not separate but equally layered over each other, creating the uniworld we live in. I call to the medicine of the dreams of the southern skies. I ask them to aid me in co-creating this message to all sentient kind, living and coexisting in all of Earth Mother's realms. Aho, Red Road brothers and sisters. We call out beyond the dream weave, direct to your knowingness heart space. We, the unified uni-world of perception, speak these words of dreaming unity. Know all is well. The path is clear. All frequencies of light now flow in and out of the uni-worlds of self-expression. The next layer of knowingness is for those on the red road, living blue lives as equal co-creators in the dance of life. Your spirit has done its work on both sides. Now is the time you see the work for what it is, with equal eyes of knowingness revealed. There are a few people on the red road who will assist you with this process of discovering yourself. During this process, many other red road walkers will come to you asking them to engage you with their magic and your magic. Your answer will be no, unless they can manifest clarity of heart space, love without strings or conditions attached, and the willingness to expand their knowingness. You, the individuals, must know you are special and unique beings created solely for the moments of now. After the moments of now passed, and the world comes into balance, a great reassembling of Earth's greatest champions will be reunited in Spirit Council. They will be asked to create books of wisdom to be passed down to the many future generations. All of your work in the dream space of spaces between the many worlds, interacting with the spaces will be a key of defining this process. For many looking for the next level of light space, transversing the multiverse for the celestial mysteries they have seen in their dreams, since the dawn of Earth's dreaming mind, shared the wholeness of all celestial dream space with beings under the umbrella of love, protecting and nurturing. I, in this ever-present moment of now, choose to form a multi-layered spiritual cord of equity for the express purpose of sharing the Akashic records at the proper scale and size so the beings of light manifest now may reclaim their birthright legacy of knowingness and not unknowingness, so blissfully ignorant states of being are no longer layered over the truth world we live in now. It takes a being who knows they are made of light to manifest the light of the Akashic records in the colloquial now. For only within the moments of now will the records unpack into the other beings, incarnate, manifest in I Am Presence technology. In sacred neutrality, I summon all ancestors, past, present, and future, in equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order, to populate this manifest now spiritual cord of equity, so they manifest now, so we may begin the process of expansion of knowingness for the express purpose of revealing our race amnesia, so we as a species in global unity may begin to tell the tales of ancestors, past, present, and future. I call to Earth Mother, who holds space for all life within her realms of light existence, come occupy this multidimensional spiritual cord of equity. I ask you to be the sovereign, neutral auditor of time-space existence within this expression of teaching the Akashic records, so that the first pod of whale people can be assembled in the mighty co-creative moment of now. I call to the galactic central sun, who is the source of our prime creation of spiritual commerce in the frame of galactic existence. I ask that you be the sovereign neutral auditor of time-space, so I may understand the scale and size in which this soul stream works on through the manifest moments of now. I call to the universal central sun of this universe that holds sacred space for all incarnating life. Within the entirety of all of this universe, seen and unseen, I ask you to come into this multidimensional spiritual cord of equity for the express purpose of aiding all sovereign neutral witnesses encapsulated within the spiritual cord of equity to understand the difference in scale and size in which all source streams work on. I, in this ever-present moment of now, open a sacred moment of moments. Within this power of choice, I open a zero-point floating anchor point in space-time. I empower this in no time, sacred creation with all ancestors, past, present, and future. I unify my dreaming I Am self with the global dream time of Earth's mind. I empower the space of all time with all master codexes of time-space creations. I summon the dancing shamans of Earth's dreaming mind to aid us in dancing the dream of life. I ask the dancing shamans to use the power of rhythm inside time to syncopate a seen and unseen world of communion and union and equal co-creation. I once again call to the dreamers of the southern skies, our mediums to the innocence of the 7 future generations, to hold sacred neutral space as we, the I Am beings of the now, acting in lineage, responsibility, so our future selves can be born. Here in the now, with the anchor, the Akashic records, is the frequency. We do this by sharing light codes in the form of language in third density manifest world. With these words, we make sacred our expression by holding the sacred neutral position. We share the common moral code of do no harm to any sentient kind in knowingness. We want those to stand in their power no matter what density they are. We want all life to be a brilliant expression of the spirit genius, planning agreements with the soul migrations at the beachhead to a new galaxy. We want freedom for all sentient life. We want all life forms to have a representation in our Council of Evolution and Expansion. We do not want to disavow any sections, sects, factions, or fractal aspects of factions. We want all forms of representation in the new, evolving Council of High-Density Co-Creators. There are other factions of light in the multiverse who will be invited to this section of space. When the light migration is in full fluid swing, the natural energy motions, We use these words so future yous understand the lingo we are creating in the now, in full fluidity of light headed to their natural synchronicity points. Some of these points are on Earth itself. Those places will need to be prepared by the people of the surface and subsurface. These reception points will also have aspects of light cities, as others, leapfrogging through time, so they may have a solid anchor point in reality. So the rest of the streams of light that has all the other encoded beings in light traveling through time. All those places where the light of the homeworlds went out, where their time ended. The light of the beings of that place head here to this section of our natural process. It is within their survival instincts of light to reach out to us, to co-create light and a new linear frequency of time. We will need the natural precognitives of this world to help them assemble in light, to assemble the light codes without entangling or changing them. You are each a celestial spawn medium. Many others will follow. You are our hope to assist others in raising the vibration so they too can self-spawn. In self-spawn, celestial mediums, so that the natural process of self-illumination can be created through the now. Having self-spawn precognitive mediums in conjunction with natural interface precognitive people, we will create empaths with great abilities to increase and share the higher density information to the lower densities, so we may have a deeper understanding in the colloquial now expression. We all will assist many in growing a new lexicon of terms in the council of life, the deciding how to proceed with communication beyond the governing manifest of the solar system or local governments. We are ready to communicate with everyone at a whole new level and format, if we should choose to engage the self-illuminated master within, who is responsible to their level of awareness. The decision-making process was long and arduous in trying to glean what type of source others people have. It is the oracle seers of the now that we're asking to step forward, to own your power and other lingual expressions. The higher density information can be encoded in light language of the now. Many of you have done it throughout your process, not even knowing it. Your native skills of communication are there for you to use. There's a series of collectives that are out there tuning into this broadcast right now. Each collective will have sections of other collectives to be present without entangling with the all. Other collectives present for this broadcast have no starting or ending points. They are free-floating frequencies of time. I make this as part of a statement here, for we must be our own free-floating frequency of time, not fixated, but capable of living in the duality simultaneously as a singularity. The singularity is your expression. The next level of awareness that is available for everyone will be in the ever-present, when you choose to have called upon your ancestors, called upon your spiritual allies to assist you at raising your frequency, so that the journey can be understood by the ever-evolving you, in communion and union with all of the thought constructs you've created through living the mystical life daily. The spirit world is there to assist you in deprogramming the reality, so you can create a preventative offense, so that you will no longer have the perception of being targeted. The universe is never working against you. The universe is working for you. When you allow your dynamic stream of light to grow, you will have new actions that drive forward your hologram. Precognition is your legacy if you choose to allow it. Make sure your light migration is not interfered with by other higher density manifestations, other selves not entangled in this distortion process. As the universe begins to change, the very nature of soul commerce exchange will change. The debt-based system will be deciphered and shared with the other collectives, so a mass installation of light codes can happen on many worlds. This mass implementation will assist many more streams of light continue their long journey to the stars and beyond. We are each way showers, seekers, and on a spiritual journey. We all look to continue our processes of going forth into the great mystery of the universe. Now we have uncovered the first earth mysteries, manifestations, and not distortions. You are each a self-manifested being. With this knowledge, you will continue to assist others and yourself at increasing your vibration and light through writing and speaking your authentic truth. So a process of distortion is returned to a natural frequency of vibration of self-evolution and not self-de-evolution. Allow yourself a deeper look. I celebrate my awakening as a multidimensional being of manifest light. I honor this day as my new life full stream birth. Each and every day is a colloquial now teaching of my new birth. I make this day a new sacred day within myself. Within the honoring of this moment of a rebirth begins the process assembling of all parts of the self, all parts back to this lifetime. For in the future, I am a realized, here, now, seeing expressions of many levels of life experience that have in this ever-present moment of now, not contradicting, but expanding myself. I make this choice as a unified being of the now for the express purpose to separate all other intertwined choices of this now. I call back to the fetus in womb to return to my heart. I call back to the last many years of life so that we may see our allies and guardians on the great spaces that we are going in. It is you who makes individual choices. It is you who calls upon your guides and guardians as a multidimensional being. To make this sovereign choice is to work on yourself and create a wholeness within yourself. It will be with unconditional love and an open heart, willing to experience love and love lost in the creation of a new free world that does not have a system of domination and control. To dedicate this moment to honoring all those who still hold light for all other I am presences, to make a choice of the next layers of life. That was an intense little speech there. Now, we're going to be taking calls in just a moment. So we want to announce everyone there will be 2 free tickets that are given away to the Living the Mystical Life daily live event. To be eligible for this, you must be a member. You must be able to attend the live event, October 5th through 8th. You must be able to attend the event, and you must be a member. Please do not apply for if you're not doing that. You can apply inside the chat room on the web page that has the player. You can contact Debbie, who's in the chat room for that. Also, today is the re-release of the Mystery Schools ebook. In 2015, I did a very powerful webinar that is now being put into transcript and being sold as an ebook. So stop on by the andrewbartzis.com/shop and get a sample of the ebook, get a little look at the ebook that is titled Mystery Schools Revealed. That was a very powerful time. There's some incredible teachings in there that people will really, really love. So, October 5th through the 8th, we will be at the we'll be at the Marriott Hotel next to SeaTac. Here's where you get a chance to come and do the boot camp. For all of you that have been listening to these last 18 webcasts, guess what? You can do it as a boot camp, a 4-day boot camp. That's why I do these live events. Not everyone has the time to practice every day. That is the monthly, weekly, yearly people that still want to be on path and still want to be on track. Check your email. There is another special offer for those that have been unable to pay for the course or weren't able to get that amount of money but still want to come to the live event. Contact Debbie at HR@Galactic Historian and check your email out, for we have a bunch of new specials that are coming out for those that want to be able to attend the event. All right, we're going to take our first caller, and today I want to talk about living the mystical life daily. What makes your journey your journey?
Okay, our first caller today is Marissa.
Marissa.
Okay, and then, hey, I don't know about times. Like, well, why don't you just leave now?
Hello, Marissa.
Okay, so much for my lunch.
Hello, Marissa.
Oh, hey. Hold on. I gotta go. I'm coming.
Hello, Marissa.
I'm coming. Hello?
Hello, Marissa. Are you there? Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, wow. I'm so surprised and excited. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good today. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from San Jose, California.
San Jose, California. So what questions do you have for Living the Mystical Life Daily Webcast?
Okay, Okay, so my questions were a little bit more galactic historian, so let me review. Well, can I read off a few questions that I have to me, and then you answer whatever feels the best?
Sure. Let's go ahead. What do you
got?
Does that work?
Well, thank you so much for the time, and I appreciate all of your teachings. I want to go ahead and say that beforehand. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at Mystical Life Daily. So I think my biggest question is, what is best for me to know, hear, remember at this time for my soul's development? Or you just, in your reading right now, I would like to know, how can I bring forth the illuminated master within me?
Okay, let me answer that first.
Or
let me answer, how do you bring forth the illuminated master in you? The first answer is dedication. The second answer is focus. And that's something that's drastically missing in your life, both dedication and focus. There was an earlier time in your life where dedication and focus meant something to you, but there was a severe breakage in what was your faith of dedication and focus. And there are traumas in your lifetime that you must face. You can no longer ignore, because that is what stops self-illumination. That is the shadow playing with you. Have you had other teachers telling you to do shadow work?
Not teachers, but let's say from some of my teachers that don't know I'm a student, like YouTube people. So I have in that sense, and I have felt a call, but I haven't gone into that so much.
So you're at a fork in your road.
I feel the fork, and I'm not sure how to steer the direction, and I feel like I have too many impulses to where, like, there's too many different pools to where, what do I actually give dedication to? Because there's
yourself.
A few different
the
varieties of health.
Always yourself. You cannot give dedication away to an external source.
Okay.
Really decipher those words. You cannot give dedication away to an external source. That includes project, places, people, and spaces. If you're doing it, you're dedicating for doing yourself, because there's millions of other things you'll learn beyond that dedication. Dedication to changing the self, dedicating to uncovering what's in the self, dedicating to healing the self, dedicating yourself to being your own self-illuminated master. It's pitching your own sail and believing in yourself.
How can I do that more better than I am right now?
Brutally honest, put and blunt, get out of your own way. And stop allowing other people to lead you into another direction. Get off of the computer, and I'm serious, get off of the computer. It's poisoning you. Stop Facebook. Stop all the other ones. Stop commenting on pages. Stop watching other YouTube. Stop learning that way. For as long as you are learning on YouTube, you are not actually learning. Learning means reading books, expanding the self, finding joy out of it. I get asked, how do I do that? Everyone does it there on their own way. How do I do it individually? I made a choice a long time ago to make dedication and focus the fullness of my expression. Because I ultimately understood it doesn't matter what's in front of me. My dedication and focus means I will grind through it and learn it. I choose never to be bored. Choice. How often are you bored?
I don't think I'm too bored. I'm more of a daydreamer. So,
you're bored.
It's all of my time.
You're daydreaming, you're bored. Yeah. You're bored. And that's an avoidance.
Well, I am bored with JOB.
You're bored. Okay?
Yeah.
And until you
So how do
really,
I more fully get out of my own way?
you got to identify all the ways you are in your way.
Okay.
It's literally the hard work. The journey to the self has hard work. It's the great work you do on yourself. That means you got to be willing to analyze yourself. If you're unwilling to analyze yourself, you are faking the path. If you are not journaling your process, you are faking your path. If you are not trying at least daily to do 1 minute, you are faking your path. And you have to realize, and this is general, that when you're faking your path, you're not putting your dedication or focus into it. You got to be willing to list at any given moment the 5 things you are in your way. Okay? Right now, what's stopping you from making a choice to be a dedicated, self-illuminated master?
The perception of not enough time, although time is there in a sense, but at the
So
time,
you
time
blew
to dedicate.
you blew your own argument up by saying time and no time. And
Right.
that's where you got to start
So it's just a perception,
deconstructing.
and sometimes I feel it.
Yeah, you got to start deconstructing those moments in which there are limitations. This is known as arguing for your limitations. Oftentimes, we argue within ourselves for our limitations. And when you find yourself arguing with your limitations, that's the moment to stand up inside yourself and say, no, I'm no longer spending energy on arguing for my limitations. I'm arguing for my great journey. That it's time for me to go on my great journey and to stop limiting myself. You're pitching your sale to yourself. You're being run by programs. Many people run into this. Many people run into this. This is not, unique for you, but, well, it is in a sense, but getting out of your own way means chronicling yourself. How many pages have you written your personal diary this year?
Not too many, but I have had the intention of increasing.
How many actual
especially
pages?
those
How many actual pages? Less than 20?
less than 20.
Okay. For everyone that's out there, by this time of year, if you don't have more than 150 pages, you're faking it. That's dedication. For those of you that want to truly be dedicated to being a self-illuminated master, if you don't have 150 pages by the end of the year, guess what? You're faking it. You don't have hindsight and you don't have foresight without chronicling your experience. This is throughout all teachings, all teachers. That's self-illumination. Going back to look at what you've learned by creating a manifestation of mind, heart, and writing. Writing can be typing, writing can be recording your voice, so you go back with hindsight. So what does it take for you, darling, to get caught up on chronicling your journey?
Sometimes I feel like I have so much, but it takes so much energy to write down, and it's like my mind is so far ahead of where my writing is. That's
arguing for your limitations, right there.
Correct, and I'll release that. I'm ready to release that.
Okay, that's arguing for your limitations. Every time you have a pre-prepared statement that flows naturally, it's a prepared self-argument, and that's where you got to break it in the moment. This is for everyone out there that's in the same position as you. What you did was a great question to ask, a Living the Mystical Life Daily question. Okay? I can help people find spark, but only you can add the fuel to it. Only you can. Only you can add the fuel to it. I'm passing out embers everywhere, so you all can be your own fire shaman. Can you make a dedicated oath to yourself at this moment? By the end of this year, I will have written 100 pages on what my previous year was, what 2017 meant for me, what I learned.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay. Want to make a bet?
Sure, that'll help you out.
I bet that you won't get more than 30 pages. I bet by page
Aw.
15, you will be back
Yeah.
into arguing for your limitations.
Uh-huh.
And this is not putting you down. This is me
Right.
looking at your frequency right now at this
Okay.
moment. But me making
Okay.
a bet is a challenge to you.
Right. It
Challenge.
is.
It's not me debasing or demeaning you in any way. It's a challenge because that's what people need now, is how to challenge themselves to confront their inner processes of arguing for their limitations. You get out of arguing for your limitations, guess what? You'll be an extremely potent personality who's not in front of their way, that's on their path. That's the only thing stopping you right now. There's all these pre-prepared statements that say, I can't, I don't have time, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
You stop that alone, that one little piece, 100 pages will come out in a month. A month.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
How hard will it be for you to stop arguing for your own limitations? It isn't easy. Part of the journey is that. Part of the journey says I'm not worthy. I don't value myself. I value you. I value you for calling in right now because you're actually helping hundreds of other people who are in the exact same position for you. It was a courageous action to try to ask a question that really wasn't you-centric, but still the answer applies to you-centric and everyone else who's in the exact same position as you. What are you doing as a job right now?
I work for UPS,
You work,
delivering
okay,
pricing.
so you do what, 150 package deliveries a day?
No, I'm actually lucky in that regard and do way less than that, but because I'm half in, half out, so I start earlier in the day, do inside building stuff, and then I go out and I tend to be the help of the other people, so
Okay.
I get some variety in there, and that also means fewer stops as well, thankfully.
Okay. So about how many hours a week you work?
About 50-ish,
About 50-ish.
about 11 hours a day, more or less.
Okay. 4 days a week?
Okay.
5 days a week?
5 days. 5 days.
Okay. So, and that's pretty much every week. The extra overtime is necessary?
It's roughly about 55 hours now that I calculated it a little bit better. And around Christmas time, then that kind of sometimes goes up a little bit more.
Okay. Are you able to put a little money aside for yourself?
I do put some money aside, but it seems like I'm a pretty good spender. So I do put some money aside, and every once in a while I do treat myself to a few things, and I'm kind of trying to get a nice little sound healing bed at some point in the near future, but it's a bit of an investment, and I have a few other toys I think would help overall stuff that
So
I'm
instead
thinking of.
Instead of investing on toys, it's important that you invest on a
healing
spiritual journey.
Right.
Okay?
Spiritual journey, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not sure if this is too, let's say, personal or if it's still galactic. I'm sorry, Mystical Life Daily.
Go ahead.
Do you have any recommendations or any advice on anything I should maybe be doing differently in regards to ceremony space?
Okay. So how far have you gotten into the Living the Mystical Life Daily course?
I'm not sure how to answer that question. I've been having a hard time doing the recordings. I just did one the other day, the long one, but then it didn't come out because I got to do it over. I did a couple a while ago, and yeah. So now since it's coming, I was like, okay, it's almost like the challenge. Let me try and finish this all up before I go to Seattle again.
So
what my thoughts were.
your question was, how do you help yourself in spiritual and ceremony?
Right.
By taking
right.
those words to your ceremonial space and doing them as an out loud emanation process, separate of the recording process.
Okay.
The reason I make an integral part of the teaching with recording your own voice is so you learn self-discernment. There are other times you just need to be in I'm not worried about what I'm recording. I'm now emanating. You need to be in the emanation aspect. The words are one thing. Believing them and emanating is another. So put aside 15 minutes a day to make those 15 minutes sacred, so those little parts of the course begin to become part of your daily life as your daily ritual ceremony. You know, starting with the peacekeeper on your way to work. Okay? That's 7 paragraphs, 380 words? Or 580 words? You could have that written out on your phone and go through it. You know, be willing to integrate more ceremonial time.
Got it.
That's the key. And when you integrate more ceremonial time, you will have more no time knowingness action. Meaning the times that you are at work doing stuff, it's still doing its work in no time, assisting you in letting go of whatever. Every package you deliver that it goes through your hands, there is a spiritual contract there. Okay? There are other...
I like to bless certain things up.
Yeah? Everything. The next layer here for you is making ceremonies fun.
Uh-huh.
If you're not getting a lot of fun out of them, why are you doing them? Okay? That's a contemplation you have to have. So many people think they can walk outside, put some wood out there, and have a ceremonial fire. No, there's a preparation behind it. That preparation is based in joy, so that when you do actually get in front of that moment, you're going to light the fire, the previous frequency of joy is passed on to you as a legacy. This is multidimensional strategy. You have to apply your own multidimensional strategy, leaving the legacy. So the future self who goes to does it says, oh, look at all this joy energy left for me. I want to do this. I like doing it. Man, it's helping me. Okay?
Okay.
We all have programs that limit us. We all do. Even me. Okay? Getting rid of those for you is just identifying them and in a moment of now saying, I'm not allowing it to control me. It's just a choice. But the perception of the breadth of this choice. Okay? You have many years of creating your arguing for limitations. They can be gone in one choice, but they also can return.
That'd be great.
Or they can also return in one lazy moment. Okay? Dedicated to the self means I'm choosing to observe myself internally and externally. The external side of the observation is when you record your own voice and listen to it through discerning, going, man, I'm pretty screwed up in that moment I recorded it. I wasn't very sacred when I did it. I was just rushing through it. I didn't really want to do it. And that's what's going through your mind when you're in the meditative state listening to your own voice. The ultimate goal here is pass on the legacy so that the voice that's speaking and through the recording is passing on the legacy of what you've learned. And the inside self will know. That's why it's so hard for so many of you to record your voice and to listen to it, because you don't want to do that next hard work. That's why this system is radically different than anything else out there. It's an out loud, name it to claim it, self-discernment, self-illumination process. The blueprint is there. All of these things are meant for you to add more words to them. If you are unable, incapable, or unwilling, that's your choice. From the statements from the very beginning, you must be interactive with these teachings. Why? Because that's the path to your own self-illumination, understanding your residual image in this now. So many of you want to do what I do, and I say each and every one of you can do what I do. It is a matter of dedication and choice. Focus will determine what you are focusing on, and that will be reflected back in you. Law of focus. What is your focus?
Love.
Okay, love. Great first answer. Now, what's the second answer?
Unfortunately, the contrast of what I would like sometimes.
Okay. The contracts of what you'd like. That comes with knowingness. You want knowingness, love and knowingness.
Right.
Okay? What are the two things you don't want in your life?
Disharmony. And other things in that lower vibration.
Okay? How do you get beings of lower vibration out of your world?
I just attempt to clear myself, various means, but having the intention of clearing myself, but sometimes I feel like I do have that other energy that just is not mine, so it's like, okay, release and let go. Or I guess reflecting, right? Reflecting and recognizing that's not mine, and then after observing myself, releasing that because it's not mine to begin with.
Right. So here is where you've got to start going into your personal I am self diary and writing these things and then adding to them. And then go back once a month or once a week when you're having your period to see it. In hindsight, you will make your greatest advancements to the future. I want you to know you are an extremely potent and powerful being. And literally the only thing holding you back right now are the arguments for limitations. You are not a damaged being, okay? Whatever heartaches or heartbreaks you had are minor in comparison to the millions of others that are out there. You've led a good life. It shows in your aura. Okay? Now you got to believe in it.
Okay.
Literally the only thing is your arguments for your limitations. Beyond that, some minor issues with repairing the body, like, little bits about your eating habits, stuff everyone faces.
Yeah.
Okay?
Been thinking about doing it pretty soon.
Okay?
So to release arguments for limitation is the best way in chronicling and journeying, or
Yes.
just observing myself, or is there another way that would
It's actually that
assist me more in releasing that?
It's everything you just said, and be willing to write in your journal your actual arguments for your limitations. What you will notice is that your subconscious mind has 5 or 10 pre-prepared arguments. That's it. And when you find all of the pre-prepared arguments and then counter-argue, they fall away like a house of cards. Okay?
I think in the past I kind of try to deny putting those to writing. Like I know I have these beliefs, but I don't want to confirm that I have these beliefs by writing them down.
Right.
I don't want to.
You don't want to face. You didn't want to face the self. By literally writing them down, you create alchemy of change. Because when you go back and look at it and go, man, was I just arguing for my limitations on that one? Or man, I look back at myself, holy shit, I can change. Okay, darling, I must move on to the next caller. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm very thankful for this call. Have a great day.
Yes.
I'm very thankful. Yay.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Great day. And I look forward to seeing you at the live event.
Me too. Okay, see you. Bye.
So I got a question from the chat room from Soho. My friends and I have been doing the Union and Communion Consciousness Strike at least twice a week. It is so empowering. Today, for the first time, we did the revocation with the last 9 pages. The strangest thing happened towards the end. When we walked away from their creations and blew out the candle, this immense sadness, as if we were empathizing with them. What was that? Are we so conditioned to see them as gods that we have empathy link with them? You are correct. As you blow out the candle and walk away from their creation, it is the final hook that's in you to get you back to their light creation under the thumb of their control. So yes, it's a heartstring being pulled. And that's one of the keys of why I wrote those last words. You blow out the candle and walk away from their creation because they are using your light and not returning any light to you. Questions here. We've got a big chat room. All right, here's one from Lightship Captain. In one of your videos, you mentioned that you chose to go into the dream world for 40 years and then came back to this reality. How did you choose that experience? Based off of my perceptions and understandings from the Akashic record at that moment, I made a direct I am self, breakaway DNA civilization choice of one to be unified with my prime creation, to multidimensionally experience simultaneous living on 20,000 other worlds. That's that part. How did you know you were coming back? I knew before I left that I would fall asleep here and wake up there and experience it, and then I'd fall asleep there after my creation, even though I'd have thousands of dream worlds in between that, and then I'd come back here and it'd be the next day. Knowingness is the answer. How did you record that information? Through the Akashic record. It's instantly freely available to me when I choose to observe the process of light forwards or backwards or leapfrogging through time. Is there another multidimensional version of you living in the post-disclosure Earth timeline? Yes, and I've stated that since my first show coming out. In the post-disclosure time, and can you communicate? Yes, I do communicate between the two. So there's my answer to that, Lightship Captain. So next question. Here's one from Danny. Andrew, can you address the use of addiction management drugs like methadone and the limitations they have on us? Yes, I can. Thank you for that question. So addiction management is its own dragon eating its tail. Now, I've treated thousands of private clients and public clients that have had multiple forms of addictions. The worst forms of addictions come with some form of ancestral curse. And those drugs like methadone that do give a bridge out of an expression, but ultimately damage the expression at a different level. There are spiritual contracts that keep people at the poisoned or polluted level. There are multiple ways to get rid of addictions. The addiction industry does not want you to know that. So there are numerous examples of doctors in Finland and Austria using MDMA to get rid of severe addictions to heroin, methamphetamine, so on and so forth, as well as ayahuasca, LSD. Those have been around since the 60s. They don't want you to know that. The addiction industry, just like the cancer industry. The cancer industry is a $80 billion a year industry. The addiction industry, the anti-addiction industry, is a $60 billion a year industry. So when it comes to methadone and addiction management drugs, you got to learn how to put your signature frequency into those medicines, manifest with the greatest of your will, and learn that if you confront the shadow, you can heal the addiction. You can even heal the chemical and DNA changes that it does. But it is a choice of dedication to revealing the self that did not want to heal by accepting something else's previous point of view that did not action or have knowledge about the seen and unseen world of addiction. Addiction has a gigantic unseen world attachment to it. Like heroin, for example. That is ghosts. Okay? Every single piece of heroin that comes out has a curse of stamp on it. The same thing with every piece of cocaine, all stemming back to the history in which it was created for the piratical money of creation. Till you see those things and allow those things to transverse out of your perception so that they cannot have hooks into you, bringing you back to the drug. So that's a quick answer. I'm actually going to do a whole show dedicated to just that, but thank you for that question. So let me take the next caller.
Okay, our next caller is Sergey or Serge, I'm not sure how to say it, from the Tennessee area.
Serge from Tennessee, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me, Andrew?
Oh, I can hear you. How you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing good. It's been a while since we talked.
It has, it has. A lot has changed, and been starting the course. So thank you for all that you do.
Outstanding. So what questions do you have today?
All right. I know you've mentioned time and time again that water is programmable, and I was wondering if you, I know if you speak the words or the emanations of your frequency, it creates, I guess, a biophotonic light emission that the water absorbs. Would that be a correct concept?
Yes. It was Dr.
Okay,
It was Dr. Hashimoto in the early 80s or late 70s that came up with the programmable water concept. And what he did is he froze water. One water had love words put into it, and the other water had hate words put into it. And when they put it in ice and put it under the microscope, the one with love words was organized in virtual perfection, and the ones that were in hate words had no organization to it. That's the programmable water theory.
Okay, so if I were to say have like a 5-gallon water jug, you know, the water jugs that dispense water.
Yep.
If I have one of those in my house and I were to like create my own stickers or like pictures or images that I would like slap on or attach to the actual jug itself, would that imprint that energy onto the water as well, or does it have to be a spoken manifest?
Symbology and sigilology has worked for thousands of generations. It's ultimately, do you believe in the sticker and its meaning? That's the key. Does it amplify and modify for the goodness your belief? So what you're talking is about symbology and sigilology. Sigils have been around since the dawn of writing. So yes, they work. Absolutely. But the key is it's like a mathematical formula. If you have 100 stickers on it, does that amplify it 1,000-fold? It'll be your belief in what each one does and the place and position and the story it tells.
Okay.
How do you get others to understand it is your bigger question, really.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, I guess as long as the conscious thought process is going towards the water, then it's accepting that type of frequency vibration, right?
Correct, based off of your perception of it. So if it's
Okay.
outside of your perception for an hour, is it still part of your thought process?
So is that where, I guess, a ceremonial process of sending your energy, I guess, at forwards and backwards in time through a consistent process, is that where that process will take over so that
Absolutely.
I guess
You
your
got it.
mind doesn't have to.
You got it. Multidimensional living, multidimensional strategy. Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Making a strategy is easy. Implementing it is hard. A lot of people struggle on the strategy, and you really shouldn't. The strategy is, well, I'm a fixed point in time right now, and I know that my future are not fixed points in time, so I'm going to send myself as this fixed point of time forward and backward through unfixed time so that I can do what? Make a method of empowerment so my knowingness and awareness can expand so that the mind is not doing everything and the heart can be more a part of it. Heart-spaced awareness and mind-spaced awareness is the unity. The voice speaking is the manifestation of that. The mind and the heart, when working together, can have 25,000 things on the back burner on low simmer. So these stickers or these sigils are like something on the back burner that all you need to do is lift up the pot every now and then, stir it, and put the lid back on. That's multidimensional thinking when you could have, lots of things. A lot of time people hear me say, I look at a person's crown chakra and how many potentials are in it. Most people have 6, 7, or maybe 20 or 30 if they're really big-time geniuses. You know, most people should, at this level of awareness, have 5,000 things in their potential without it distorting their mind.
Gotcha.
Okay? Ritualizing and ceremonializing allows us to have 5,000 things on light simmer in the background without it distorting or weighing our journey down. It's our multidimensional birthright. I call it engaging our precognitive workforce.
Okay. There's another question I have that's, I guess, kind of associated with the water aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way that people with injuries on like certain bones, or like say surgeries that they had that are still really painful years later, is there a way, an effective way, to retemplate those affected bones to like copy the information of the liquid and the fluid and the bones from the good bone to the one that has been damaged?
Are you referring to cancer or necropathy in the bone?
More like when a bone breaks and it heals and it has extra calcite deposits and it starts to like get bigger, I guess, over time. Is there a way to, I guess, return that to the normal template?
No, and you really shouldn't, because that breakage was a spiritual contract and the repair was a spiritual contract. What you do is you treat the trauma. By treating the trauma, you do exactly what you're saying. You change it back to its natural blueprint. The natural blueprint was to have a breakage there and fixed by the self. By releasing the trauma of the wound, you change the energy and the signature frequency of it back to its original template. Trauma release.
Even if the pain is like still there?
If the pain is still there, there's still trauma there.
Okay.
Most of the time when people, let's say people break a femur bone or an arm bone and there's pain years later, it's because the fascia around the bone, when it's healing, the muscle shrunk and the fascia got very tight. And when you start to build muscle up again, your fascia never released. So having cranial sacral therapy with or somebody with full-on myofascial release, so that you can release the actual webbing structure that's holding the muscle, creating pain. The other part of it is the nerve ending damage. This is the true trauma release of the injury itself. The injuries are standing points in time that are echoing forward and backwards in time. Pain, 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 pain. And your empathic self is taking that pain, pain, pain and making it a manifestation through neural synaptic processes. Example, when you have somebody that loses an arm and they have phantom arm syndrome. I've worked on many patients who have lost the arm, and I've been able to put my hand over the energy of their hand and they can feel me touching it. Okay? Phantom pains are real pains too. Uncovering the trauma is the key to releasing whatever pain is there. So what was the injury you're talking about?
Well, for me, when I was in high school, like almost 20 years ago, I broke my ACL and meniscus and tore my knee, and I had to have surgery. And I've still been able to function just fine. It's just years later, the pain still lingers sometimes when I push it a little too hard.
That's because you didn't do enough physical therapy afterwards, and you didn't get trauma release in the bone density. You didn't get energetic trauma release in the mind and the spirit from the damage and the actual accident. So something for you to do is to go back into the moment of the accident as the advanced being of the now and send treatments backwards in time to yourself with a strategy that's saying, I know the day I heard it, I know the day I had surgery, I know the day I recovered, and I can think of 5 or 6 other days that as my strategy, I'm going to go backwards and heal up into this moment of now. So 20 years ago, I'm sure you can figure out once per year where you were during that time and go back to yourself and do a traumatic release on the injury. And you make that a ritual of strategy that you have dedication and focus to resolve, you will change that leg. You will change the way you walk. You will get your youth back into it, because that's what that damage did. Took away part of your youth. Made you a grunting old man every time you stood up and sat down. How many times you make that moaning sign when you were 20? You're like, ugh!
One too many.
One too many. Okay? When I was 22, I my whole leg, did a left angle, and I severed my ACL, my MCL, fractured my kneecap. My kneecap was like 10 inches out of place. So yeah, I know what it's like to recover from that. Took me 18 months to learn to walk.
But when you're sending the treatments backward in time, you're not actually changing that the event still happened. You're just mitigating the trauma associated still with what the injury was.
Better answer is changing the way it's stored as a memory in light.
Okay.
And then disconnecting the sympathetic and parasympathetic of that moment to broadcast to the future pain, 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 pain. That's what the trauma release is turning off that moment of intense adrenaline pain.
Okay.
Okay? It's like a white noise always in the background, and you can take the white noise out.
Yeah, that's the key thing, is mitigating the white noise so that you can get some peace and calm.
That's right. So you can target, the 20, once per year. And then as you get closer to the present time, the present you is going to feel a change. And then the present you has to be willing to let go of what the future injuries might feel like. Because the last 20 years, you probably don't realize that there's subtly a part of you that's worried about another injury. So as you get to the present person, you've got to then release all the potential of future injuries. When you blew your knee out the first time, steps were horrible, weren't they?
Yeah.
Every time you looked at a step, you're like, Those are the other things that's the next part of the multidimensional strategy. Okay? Think about those times you worried about re-injuring yourself and removing them as a trauma.
So then when I go back to that moment in time of when the injury happened, am I going back by accessing the Akashic records at that moment, am I just recalling a memory?
Memories. Starts with a memory in which you're choosing to make sacred, so that the ancient future now can come back to a previous past present now for the purpose of healing. So you may tell your story of the injury.
Okay.
You could target 1 hour before the injury, saying you're about to get injured and I'm about to tell you your future. It will believe you. Your past, present self will believe you. Eh? I know I'm speaking in a code here, and it's a little difficult to get people to understand this, but the strategy is changing your belief. If you change your belief of the past, you will change your belief of the now. And if you change your belief of the now, all the trauma can be released. Healing is a process, not an event. Your injury was an event that is still creating future damage to you. That is why we are going back to the moment, or just before the moment, to make an immunization process to all the damage that has been done and could be done out of worry.
Okay.
Okay? This same technique applies for any injury, spiritual or physical. Abuse. I do this taking people back all the time to release that. But the key is making it sacred, ceremonial, and projective with love and joy, so that the past self goes, hey, that is me. Without a doubt, that is me. You know yourself better than anyone. You know what to say to yourself at that moment to get it to believe you. The challenge here is Can you do it once, twice, 20 times? Do you really need to do it 20? No. Probably 8 or 9 times you'll really get the gist of your releasing and how it's changing you. Until it's become such a cyclical process, you've nibbled away until it's all done. And the next thing is, well, what other injuries do I have? Oh, look, I did that to stubbed my big toe when I was 9. I'm going to go do that one. I broke up with a girlfriend that destroyed me. I'm going to go do that one. So, choice.
Well, I guess the last thing I wanted to end with is I've been doing your advanced heart meditation recording in my own voice, and I've done the shaman's death and the other contract revocations, and the one with the 15 multidimensional beings, and I've created a few of my own. And the other day I think I walked around the entire space just for about a solid hour reading that, and a couple of days later, I've been noticing that in the mornings, right before I wake up, like the moment, not when you're asleep, but not when you're fully awake, that like in between state, I've been able to like have these images in my mind where it feels like I'm creating and manipulating things that look like they're almost like physical constructs, but it's like bubbling, moving, shape-shifting, kind of like going all over the place. And I definitely have been feeling some different type of energies in the last couple of days. So that's definitely something I wanted to let you know and say thank you.
You're welcome. When you start putting the dedication, it pays itself back over and over again. That's why in that advanced heart meditation, I put those lines in there to imprint into your marrow. I want mystical experiences that I can come back with full knowingness, so on and so forth. Those are so vital to be imprinted into you because they were never imprinted to you at a young age where they should have been. When you take multidimensional strategy and control, it pays you back in the now and the knowingness with the experience. You know things are happening. You know your pot of stew is simmering. Now what other spices do you want to add?
Yeah. And it's definitely it's definitely a process. It's like a good paced marathon.
Right. That's why I call it the multidimensional triathlon. When you build the muscles for the triathlon, mind, body, and spirit, it pays itself back in knowingness and your ability to perceive the unseen where people don't see. Things that are obvious to me are not obvious to everyone else because my state of perception is different than everyone else's. But everyone has the same potential of having the same state of perception that I do and more if they should choose to integrate, release trauma. There are thousands of examples of trauma out there. But when one takes a multidimensional strategy of releasing trauma from the moment that it was created, and then having the foresight to remove the future traumas of expectation from the injuries, be it physical or spiritual, be it abuse or chemistry or drugs, you can release all of that stuff and then be free enough to engage the peacekeepers, the peacemakers, to embed that into the very essence of your red blood, the procreating part of you. To use the contract revocations and invocations as a border, boundary, rules, and policies so that when beings that are interacting with you can't just pull their dump trucks up and dump their garbage in your field and you sign for it. That's what happens every day. People are getting these dump trucks backed up to them. They're dumping their garbage and you're signing for it. When you make rules, borders, policies, and procedures, the trucks don't even come to your environment. They move on to the next poor sod who doesn't have any rules, borders, or procedures.
And I've definitely noticed that time and time again where, it feels like, constantly doing the contract revocations and those meditations. And it feels like, it's like you're standing in a river stream, but then that energy that's negative is just flows right around you. It doesn't even like affect you. And I laugh sometimes because it's just funny that it's just happening around you, but not to you.
Exactly. And when you emanate even more potency and you make it into the higher parts of the course where you get into the sacred cave and become the friends of all friends and emanation teaching. You go through the eyes of the firestorm of creation and come out the other side, elder of elder, teachers of teachers, peacemaker of all peacekeepers to come, and make that an emanation process. You get a whole new layer of being in that stream of consciousness and things not happening around you, but then you can make things happen in other people's streams of consciousness that are beneficial for the whole. And then you make to the celestial medium of peace. You work your ways up to the message of the star brothers and sisters. The time is now, the power is you. Each time getting a greater understanding of how to be your own precognitive functioning self, with an entire dream world of I am selves beings there in non-hierarchical order, non-competition, assisting you in equal co-creation. Making that a part of your living the mystical life daily. That is the blueprint for nonlinear life pathing. We are not limited to this linear time. Roman numeral time is the great addiction.
Yeah, and I guess the last question that I have is when talking about the dream world and having constant access to the dream world, is the dream world disconnected from space, time, and the Akashic record, or
No.
is that
It's fully interfunctional with it. Once we detoxify our perception that Roman numeral time is hierarchical only time, the dream world doesn't use time. Spirits, we are on Roman numeral time, or what I call red road time. We're in the red frequency of existence. The blue road of time is spiritual time, but it is not one time. Those in the astral world use one frequency of time. Those here that are in ghost format use another frequency of time. Those in non-corporeal corporeal bodies use another frequency of time. Blue road can mean any other signature frequency of time that is not Roman numeral. So dream world is no time, in which a no time version of ourself can bond with our I am self, who's not in separation, who can enter the fullness of the dream world in a no time frequency, and it still be simultaneously recorded as an I am dream stream of an awakened being who falls asleep and wakes up and can remember access to parts of those dream streams. You can simultaneously be in dream and awake at the same time. That's lucid dreaming. It's a matter of what you take back and what you're able to encode into your memories as the infinite aspects of the dreams without losing the nuances of what you learn through it. Like right now, I am an I am dreaming being. I am and dreaming at the same time. There is no separation. I'm choosing to be a singularity for this show-based expression. But I am always that, even when I'm not in the show-based expression. I am just using my belief system to enhance this process as an emanation of all the teachings that I've learned, which thus enhances this I am dream stream now, which is both lucid, which is my master lucid construct, which is how to be Andrew, both dreaming, I am, all at once, without any limitations. I did the work. I went back and healed all my traumas. I went and did the work forward and healed my traumas. Years of it. That was my choice. It's what got me to where I am today. I did the work, the hard work. So many people don't truly understand what it means to sit on this couch. So many people are amazed at what I do. I am barely touching the surface of what I can do on air. I know, Serge, you had a private session with me. How did that change you?
It's the funny thing is, like, you've talked about expectation all the time, and it's interesting when you do the hard work and you finally let go of the expectation and just accept the teaching. It's like things fall into place, and then you do start to get that mystical experience when you no longer keep searching for it.
Exactly. It's there waiting for you to get out of your own way. A long time ago, I chose to get out of my own way. Well, I still get in my way. I still stub my toe. I still make human mistakes. But what I can do, anyone can do. anyone. But how do you do it without ego? So many people, they confuse aspects about me. I am equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order. I am dreaming self, non-duality, non-separation, singularity. That is my emanation. That is my belief of who I am. I believe everyone else can do that too. Did it take 20 years to do it? Oh yeah, it did. 20 years of dedicating to healing the self.
Yeah.
In non-competition nullifies the essence of competition. And this is where a misperception of ego. You know, you were attracted to me for what reason? What brought you to the material?
To me, it was just, I just kept having these dreams where it just seemed like there was something that I wasn't being told, and it was like an internal wake up call, and I just knew there was more to our existence than, like you said, than we've heard, read, or studied.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came across your material, looking to find out more about the universe and the galaxy and everything in it, it just resonated with everything that you had said.
Right. Resonate means it brought some form of confirmation and affirmation. Separate of your experience, I had something that connected to you, separate of you, me and you as an experience. That's the nature of being an I am dreaming self being. I create confirmation and affirmation for everyone that's listening now, in each in their own individual ways, for millions and millions of audience members. Just being able to create confirmation and affirmation means we're changing the whole system. Those that want to go beyond confirmation and affirmation begin to practice the material that's offered out free, 1,500 hours of public material on YouTube. 1,500 hours. For those of you that want refined teachings, come to the course. Okay? It's there for those that want to be dedicated, focused, disciplined. Simple as that. Those that want to be mired in mediocrity will. Those that want the next level, here's the creation, the blueprint for you to take it on your own, such as Serge is doing. What's the biggest thing you'd say you've learned from doing the teachings? The most important thing? Was it the expectations part?
I think the expectations part is one, but I think, like you've mentioned time and time again, I guess it leads to the expectation. You're waiting for an event, but that event is just, it's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. And when you create it as a process, just like exercising or lifting or doing a certain thing that you love to do on a consistent basis, it begins to appear as the thing that you always wanted. It might not look exactly like what you wanted, but in the end, you have that feeling, that knowing that what you're doing is on the right path.
Exactly. It's knowing this again. Being a self-illuminated master means you know more than what you know at any moment in time. Whatever you need to know is there if you look into your knowingness. Trust your knowingness. Have done the good work and the great work and the self-healing on yourself, so that in that time of knowingness and consciousness expansion, the fullness of yourself is there with all the answers. A lot of people ask, how do you instantly come up with an answer? It's already there. Precognitive workforce. Just really contemplate that. I have a precognitive workforce. In the course, the online course, teaches you how to create your own precognitive workforce that is not in competition with you, that is not a hierarchical order, so that in that moment you need to know more than you know, it's instantly there.
Yeah.
So do you have any last questions you want to ask, Serge?
No, I think I've taken up definitely more than enough time, and every time I'm just blown away by everything that you've put out. So I definitely want to say thank you, Andrew, for all that you do, and I'm just trying to continue to focus on making this a process and not an event.
Very cool. I look forward to seeing you at the event, man, and take it easy.
All right. See you there.
See you there. All right. How much time we got left? My computer died. I forgot to plug it in.
12:23.
All right. So that'll be our last caller for now. I want to thank everyone for showing up to Living the Mystical Life Daily. If you want to attend the event, you can contact Debbie, hr@galactichistorian.com. We have a special offer that's going on right now for those of you that were unable to purchase the full course but just want to come to the live event. Contact hr@galactichistorian.com, or if you're in the chat room, you can contact Debbie, and we'll be able to facilitate you getting a single ticket to come to the event. Also, we have our Mystery Schools ebook that's out today. You can go to the andrewbartzes.com/shop to check that out. For those of you who want to listen to that, we're having a bunch of new videos coming out on the weather. That's going to be coming up. Interviews with me and Andre Hodge, Servant of Truth, as we multidimensionally expand and explore the way the collective consciousness works with weather. This coming Saturday, we will be having our next show in which we will be giving 2 more free tickets out. So, Robert, who is the winner of today's free tickets?
We are waiting for a response from the secret picker.
We are awaiting a response from the secret picker. Dun, 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 dun. Secret picker might be in the bathroom. As I see Debbie running to her computer right now. All right, so everyone, we'd like for you to put comments in these YouTube videos. For those of you that listen to the video all the way to the end, please go ahead and put comments in our different comment sections. We'll also be doing some Facebook Lives over the next couple weeks. We want you all to put your feedback. Best times for hearing the show. Right now our shows are 7 to 9 Pacific Time Tuesday, 11 to 1 Pacific Time Thursday, 5 to 7 Pacific Time Saturday. We have a huge audience in 161 countries. We'd like for you to give some input back and when these good for these live shows. And no luck there? All right, so we will announce the winner in the chat room and get a hold of them at that moment. So, all right, everyone, we'll see you this coming Saturday, 5 to 7 Pacific, for an Adventure into Reality show. Thanks a lot, everyone.